habit that I just started. I believe it was a month ago. I could go back and look at my journals because I actually put it into my journals. I attached it to a habit that I already have. So, like my gratitude, my intentions, free writing, stuff like that I do every single day. I added it to that, which is really important because then you're able to, you're more likely to do it because it's already attached to something that's already being done. Kind of like when I talk about um, doing it before or after brushing your teeth, because that's something that you do daily. Um, so I started this, let's say it was a month ago. And within that month, by a few weeks in, it wasn't a full month, it was a few weeks in, um, uh, I started already noticing a big difference. And it's important to realize that, you know, it's not about saying like this one habit changed my life, but this one habit will change you internally. But it doesn't mean like this will do what it's doing exactly to me, because we're all very different and we're at different stages. And, internally, our brain, everything is just, it's not the same. And I have a bunch of different habits that I do every day that also go really well with adding this. But it doesn't mean to say, what I don't mean to say is that like this won't do anything for you because you're not doing all these other habits. Because you could be doing habits that are really good for you and you don't even know, or some people might not need the same types of habits to be able to feel good and do the same thing internally as other people as well. So I did this for a month, and then a few weeks in, I already started noticing difference. So what I would do is I would laugh. I would literally put laugh and like a box and a check mark, and then I would just like, and I would try to, so what's important is like before the laughter, I would make sure that I'm not thinking of anything like negative, depressing. I could bring up a memory, possibly of like something like really funny, and try to add to that laughter, even though it is still, it might be fake at first, but I don't tell myself it is. Or sometimes my dog would come up to me while I'm journaling, and then I would skip to the laugh part, and then I would just like something he would do, or just him being so cute, I would just like start laughing at like something that he would do, the way he would just like look at me or something, just something. So then I would just laugh, and then I would extend that laughter. So I'm going to do it right now. So I would be like, and then so it's like from here, it's like I'm like laughing from like that level of depth. Um, and that's what I want, because like that's what feels really good when, like, that once in a while you laugh and tears come down and it's just so funny and it just feels so good and satisfying. So that's what I wanted, and I did this because I wanted more laughter in my life, because um, positivity and joyfulness and all that is really good for you. So I was like, okay, so let me add more laughter in my life. I was already adding more laughter in my life by being very careful of what kind of videos and movies and stuff that I watch, especially like movies. I watch a lot of movies, so I was very careful trying to make sure I watch more funny comedic movies. I would even like look up to see if they were sad. Some of them, when they would start off a certain way with certain music, I'd be like, oh, I feel like this is sad, and I'd Google it if there is sad parts, and I would skip it because I wanted to be in this laughter and joy and stuff. And so some people might disagree with that, and that's fine, but like that's what I wanted. I wanted to live in that. And so I would laugh every day, almost every day. It wasn't exactly every day for those few weeks, but it was almost every day, because there's some days where things came up and I didn't end up journaling for whatever reason, but almost every day. And then, and so I would be laughing from that, and it would only be a few seconds, like what you just saw. Sometimes I would just do it for that length, but a lot of times I would try to make it a few more seconds, but definitely under a minute. But you could do as long as you want as well. And so what I noticed, So what I noticed after a few weeks was that it was easier for me to laugh. Um, Things that I would find a little funny, I was laughing from like a deeper place because that was the habit that I created, that my body was just like, oh, it's easier for us to laugh from that more in depth place. And it just felt so good and satisfying. So you want to laugh more, and like things would be more funny to me than they were before, which was interesting. Um, and what else? And I just felt more uplifted. Mind you, I'm also doing other habits, but I do notice a significant difference doing this habit. So, but I am doing other habits that are also working together with this. But I do believe that this is definitely making a big difference, because I could feel the same depth of laughter, but it's natural. So, like in the beginning, I was faking it and trying to like pretend like I was not, but that's hard. But I didn't care. I just wanted more laughter. So, and I wanted more of those types of hormones when you laugh. Like I wanted that released more in my life. So, and what I got out of it was even better because now I laugh easier. I laugh several times a day, but which is easy when you have a dog that does like lots of cute things and stuff. But I also noticed that like little things when I would interact with people, I would just like, instead of just like a little giggle, it would be like from a nicer place of like a nice big laugh. Like I'm not saying like a laugh that like, is just ridiculous to me. It's just something natural, but it would just be that depth of laugh that I want, that I would get once in a while. It's happening more often. And it's coming from that same place of what I feel when I was like faking it, especially in the beginning, practicing laughing more. And okay, what else? And so I have heard of laugh therapy, like over, I don't know, 15 years ago or so. I heard of laugh therapy. I even went to an event where this person was talking about how they work at a hospital and they focus on laugh therapy, but I didn't hear anything else, like any details about it, but just about how good it is for you. So I always knew that it was good for you, but I didn't know what it entailed. And for this, I just wanted to know what this habit that of me just adding this laughter for a few seconds or several seconds, like I want to know what that does. So, but having in the back of my mind that like laughter is good for you. And then in recent years, knowing that like how good it is to be like in joy and in in a state of joy. It doesn't mean that I'm always like la di la di la. Like, no, it just means that like my joy is more of like a place of like calmness, and I could talk about that in like another video perhaps. But okay. What else did I want to say? Okay, yes, and another key factor to point out is that making sure that before the laughter and after the laughter, I know touched on this a little, before the laughter, making sure it's not like, oh, I just had like really intense memory of something horrible or something came to mind or whatnot, and I held on to that thought, or my mind did. So I would make sure that if that was the case while I was journaling, like I'm usually in like a really nice, like calm, loving state because I'm doing all these like affirmations and gratitude. But for whatever reason, if like before laughter something comes up, I would try to think of like a neutral word. Literally, you could say like blank, because I was thinking of like saying like orange or something, but I was just like, you know what, color association might not be great either, depending on people, and just there's a lot more of the subconscious maybe with color. So I just wanted to be as neutral as possible. So like even just saying the word blank sometimes in my head or out loud, and then doing the laughter, and that was helpful because then I'm not reinforcing these thoughts that are coming up in my mind, in the mind, that then I didn't want any possibility that like the thoughts that I just had that weren't that great, I'm doing something really positive and like releasing really good hormones. I didn't want the association of like that being reinforced in any way. So that was really important as well when I was doing this, and keeping this in mind every time I did it. What else? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Those are the main points. If there's anything else, I'm going to pause this and add to it. So I'm not going to put this up right away in case other things come up, because I feel like a lot of people make videos, as I have, where it's just like you're saying a lot, but then things come to mind and you're just like, oh my God, I have to tell them this part or this part to it and stuff. And that's where people sometimes I feel like are being called out, like, oh my God, they forgot to say this. And it's like, but maybe they meant to, but they might have just forgotten, because like sometimes it's really hard to just explain everything in detail and then post stuff, especially if people are doing it without writing it, or if people are just like pushing out a lot of content sometimes. So we have to try to think for ourselves even. And then I think there's the last one. Okay, and of course, like, there's no actual test done, but just observing what's happening internally. And so it'd be really great to see, like, if anybody wanted to add this to their daily habit, try it out, see how it feels, see how you feel before, after, try to see what changes. And of course, keeping in mind that like there's so many other factors that are at play, like if you started meditating longer, if you started doing this or that. But me knowing that like it's coming from that same place that I felt like I was activating even when I was faking it, and so it's allowing me to like, it's like I feel like it's like I expanded that. Let's say I expanded that part of me, and so now it's like, oh, I have more room now, because that's now my new threshold of like giggling. It's like it was more like maybe it was more constricted or whatever it was, and now it's like I've expanded it, and so now I'm like I've given myself room to laugh more. That's what it feels like, because it's coming from that same area, but it's real when it's happening. So that is pretty awesome. So yeah, try it out. See what changes you feel are happening, and if there's anything else I need to add to this, I'm just gonna add to the video, or if not, then I'm just gonna post this as this is. And then if anything else comes up, I could always create a new video later and put it in the comments that there's more things to keep